Testing, 1, 2. Excellent. Everyone, meet Brad, a talented little boy from an award-winning school who was constantly praised by his parents and other adults. You see, they repeatedly told him that he was gifted. Now, you would think that Bradley would progress through school with head held high, but he didn't. He failed to try new projects that he wasn't sure of. And tasks that didn't come to him easily, he gave up almost immediately. And Bradley is not alone. For decades, educators have noticed that a large percentage of talented students overrate their competence and underrate the importance of effort. Yet, kids are saturated with messages every day, telling them that they are doing, as Tony the Tiger would roar, great! Notes in the lunch boxes, ooh, star charts on the refrigerators, and yes, those treats at the Dairy Queen. Delicious. According to a study conducted by Columbia University, 85% of American parents think it's important to tell their kids they're smart. These parents sincerely believe that if their children consider themselves intelligent, then they won't be intimidated by new academic challenges. But unfortunately, as journalists Poe Bronson and Ashley Merriman write in their book Nurture Shock, this ineffective praise often hinders student achievement. Ironically, the widely held panacea for low performance might actually be causing it. Praise has become an abused antibiotic, an emotional medicine whose side effects society does not comprehend. Now, in no way am I arguing against encouraging children, but an overdose of praise can be dangerous. Too often, in our attempts to build self-esteem, our overuse of ineffective praise can hinder our goals for success, and thus is my concern. So, to better understand this problem, we must first diagnose our self-esteem sickness. Then, we can examine how we can misuse emotional medicine to make our condition worse. And finally, we will identify the proper praise dosage that we need to give our kids the best prognosis for success. So, let's begin the diagnosis. Too often, we have been misusing unhealthy praise to motivate youth, but often making the condition worse. National Press Club Award winner Chris Collins writes that students have been on a praise regimen for years and have always been told that they can be anything they want to be. And according to educational psychologist Dr. Jean Twenge, an overwhelming 98% of college freshmen agreed with the following statement: "I'm sure I'll get to where I want to go in life." Which for me is right next to Beyonce. Move over, Jay-Z. And too often, this empire state of mind has infected our younger generations with expectations of success without clear goals and the understanding of hard work. Kids risk building self-esteem on entitlement rather than achievement. And Clark University research professor Jeffrey Arnett profiles personalities that can be most vulnerable to this phenomenon. Now, he notes that although some students ardently work towards their dreams, others only let their ambitions amount to daydreams. Consider Albert, an ice cream store employee whose dream is to make it to baseball's big leagues. Yet he did not play baseball in Little League, nor did he play in high school, and he does not play now. Yet when asked how he will make good on his goals, he'll mumble, "Well, I don't know, I'll just see what happens." Whenever society decides to encourage children to chase castles in the sky without building foundations under them first, praise merely distracts the praise receiver from the real goals that could have made their dreams real. In fact, Columbia University psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck investigated how praise affected 400 fifth graders. In her experiments, children were given easy IQ tests so that everyone would do well enough to be worthy of praise. Now, afterwards, researchers praised some children for their efforts. Wow. You must have worked really hard at that. Well, others were praised for their intelligence. Whoa, you must be one smart cookie at this. And so, for the second round of testing, students had a choice of tests. One that would challenge their abilities, or another that would be easy enough to ensure error-free performance. Of those praised for their efforts, well, the majority of them chose the harder test. But of those praised for their intelligence, most of them copped out and took the easy test. Now, Dr. Dweck found that when we praise kids for their intelligence, we tell them the name of the game is look smart. Don't risk making mistakes. Or in other words, focus only on maintaining your image in public. And so whenever adults decide to anchor praise to intelligence, praise can become a sort of drug that suppresses student motivation. And just as with Bradley, that talented little boy, this use of praise can make our children less likely to take on life's challenges because they're too focused on maintaining their image. Well, psychologist Dr. Jennifer Corpus asks us to consider a different praise scenario. At the side of the children's soccer field, a father of one of the girls on the winning team picks her up and says, "Sally, you are amazing. You are way better than those other kids." And Sally, of course, eats these words up like an ice cream cone. However, Dr. Corpus warns us that we as human beings search for the cause of our success, right? Well, soccer dad's praise may have Sally searching in all the wrong directions. Too often, way better than those other kids means to Sally that she always will be better, regardless how hard she trains or how diligently those other kids work. And now, Sally can enter the ranks of the other Americans, whose self-esteem is on the dialysis machine of praise. And as Dr. Corpus warns, should Sally lose that big game, she could conclude that, well, her father was mistaken. Her intrinsic qualities have fallen short. She's just not good enough. Educational psychologist Dr. Paul R. Pintrich writes in the School Psychology Review that students who are motivated achieve and succeed. However, if Sally believes that she is intrinsically incapable of success, then her motivation will plummet, and with it, her chances for success. And now it's time to have a look at the loser side of the field, where little William is tearing up after losing a game that he fought hard to win. So his mother looks into his watering eyes and says, "Hey, I've noticed that your defending's really improved. You know, you're not the fastest or the strongest player on the field, but you're making up for it by putting pressure on the ball handler and making quick passes. So keep working hard to beat them next time." And Dr. Corpus would tell us that William is the real winner here. He hasn't been told that he was the most important part of the team when he isn't. He hasn't been told that he was the best player on the team when he wasn't. What he has been told is the prognosis that both failures and successes need to hear. What he did well, and how he can improve. You see, by allowing William a little frustration and helping him to overcome it, soccer mom can immunize him against the disease of despair and giving up. So, who is William? Well, William is me. So thank you, Mom. All your talks about hard work and determination have helped me get me where I am.
Oh my God!
Maybe my soccer mom was right. If soccer dad really wants to help Sally achieve success, then he must recommend a new emotional prescription, a realistic goal setting, and process praise. An intense focus on ingrained talent can only lead to temporary self-esteem boosts rather than permanent ability boosts. So, instead of praising kids for their ingrained gifts, we can follow Dr. Carol Dweck's advice and rave about their effort, their concentration, the effectiveness of their study strategies. Praising the way the child performs allows them to focus on processes that they can all engage in and learn. So, Telling Albert that he can be anything he wants to be might make him feel good overall, but it won't improve his pitch or his chances of making it to the big leagues. Second, we can tell Sally that she's a great soccer player, heck, maybe one of the best, but if her passing doesn't improve, her status will fall. And we can tell bright young Bradley what Rachel Dawes told Gotham Star Knight. It's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you. And that's the best medicine, not a placebo.